What is up, podcast community? My name's Can. This is Three Questions Podcast. This is episode number 23. I'm 3 episodes deep in a row here, and I want to quickly jump into the questions. As you know, ckcollective.co is my site. It's my business. You can book coaching sessions with me there. If you want to work on things personally and professionally, I recommend the strategy sessions. The more you buy, the cheaper they are. Also, if you have a business or a side project or a company or a startup idea, and you need help in marketing, sales, advertising, investing, product growth and development, awareness, any sort of partnerships, my CMO for Hire product, one-time fee. That fee goes up every time a company purchases that. So because my time is limited and we work on one thing at a time. So 30-minute meeting, we work on that one thing. Both options for coaching and or CMO for Hire come with WhatsApp support included. You can call me anytime. I'll get back to you when I can. Sometimes my time is limited. I always respond to my clients. I have clients that text me every single day. I have clients that don't text me at all. That's a service that's completely free when you sign up for either of those two services. Okay. And we're going to get right into it. Okay. So I'm going to set my watch, excuse me. And question number one, what is the best way to get back in shape? I've been dealing with this myself personally, and coming off of a interesting year where maybe my fitness wasn't the number one priority, right? School was that number one priority for me at that time, but fitness was always an expectation to be maintained. I would say getting back in shape is very difficult, but I would say that 70% of it, 70 is all nutrition. Okay. My parents, luckily, I'm so grateful. My parents were vegetarian, then they became pescatarians. Now they eat meat. My mother has celiac disease, Hashimoto's, and SIBO. So she has a lot of dietary restrictions in her diet. So my parents have really learned a lot, and also sort of just from diffusion have taught me a lot about food, taught me about supplements, taught me about what's really healthy for the body. And they've never been fast food people. They've never been big drinkers. It's been really, really great to sort of learn from them throughout the years. And I would say that when it comes to getting back in shape, at least 70% of it is all done in nutrition. I think the other 25% of it certainly done in the gym. You have got to be consistent in the gym. I'd say recommended 20 minutes a day minimum. That can be a 20-minute run, but I think at least 20 minutes to about an hour and 15 minutes max is probably good for you to do 5 or 6 days a week. That is great. Okay. But if you eat like shit and you're still going to the gym and not for an hour and 15 minutes for 6 days a week, you're still not going to see the gains. Okay. Sorry, my dog's in here. But when you really want to get back in shape, you've got to dial in your nutrition. Okay. And I talk at length, ad nauseum with some of my clients about some of the foods that they eat, starting from their breakfast, right? If they want to feel good, if they just want to think better, if they want to think more clearly, it all starts with the food that you eat and you put into your body. And 5 minutes is not enough time to sort of dive into that, but you have got to start with nutrition. That is 2/3 of it minimum. The other third of it, certainly going to the gym and showing up. Okay. But getting back in shape starts with eating right. It starts about learning what your body likes, learning what your body craves, and then the kinds of foods that will support growth, right? Support testosterone, support lean muscle mass. All of these things are so shocking, and the information is all out there. It's all free. It's all on YouTube. You live in the best era ever in order to get in shape. The most gyms of all time are already out there today, okay, that have ever existed on the planet. And then all of the information you could ever want to know about what it means to be a human and the foods that you need in order to fuel your body, it's all out there on the internet for free, right? So the fact is you have no excuse. You have no excuse to be out of shape, right? You can go and get tests, right? If you're low on testosterone, you're going to feel more lethargic. You're going to have more fat muscle mass, just more fat on you. There are so many things hormone-wise that you can also check into. Okay. But getting back into shape, the best way to do it is to understand where you are. Okay. Understand where you are, accept where you are. If you're overweight, it's saying, hey, I'm a little bit overweight here. I'd like to lose a few pounds. Start with micro goals, right? How do you lose a pound? How do you lose 2 pounds, 3 pounds, 4 pounds? Have all of these little different goals and start evaluating your diet. Take a sheet out, take a journal and say, how did I eat last week, right? Did I have fast food? Did I have pizza? How much alcohol did I drink? How many refined sugars am I really putting into my body? And then the second part of that is saying, hey, what does refined sugar really do to my body? And if, man, I wish we had more time for this question, but refined sugar essentially interrupts so many patterns in your body and creates a huge release of insulin. And when insulin gets released into the bloodstream in order to take out all of these sugar, it sort of interrupts all of these other body processes, including hormones and muscle mass, all of these things. Alcohol does the same way, it interrupts so many different body functions because it's essentially a poison to your system. And your body has to sort of take time to remove these things before it can get back to doing that. And when we do those bad things so consistently, it really interrupts how we need to sort of continue to put one foot in front of the other. So eliminating these things from the diet first is always the right step in order to get back in shape, but also just admitting it to where you are and who you are and how you want to sort of proceed really helps. If you have any more questions, you can send me an email. I love talking about this stuff, as you can tell. So that's that. Question number 2. Okay. Let's see. What can I do if I'm embarrassed about my body? Question or podcast, 3 questions podcast, episode number 23. What can I do if I'm embarrassed about my body? So this is a very, very challenging question. Also, very personal question. I'm going to slow down here for a minute and say, I've always been pretty lean myself. Okay. I'm 33 years old now. So there are times where if I'm not taking care of myself, I don't really look how I used to. And that can be alarming. But I, again, grew up in a home where we focused on health and nutrition. And so that's kept me and my family members always pretty lean. And I don't know that anybody in our family has ever, it sounds, I hate that this sounds pretentious, but I don't know that anybody has really been embarrassed about our body image in my immediate family. I know I have some older relatives now, and they've mentioned, hey, getting older, you look different and things hang where they didn't used to hang. And that is alarming, right? And whether you're in you're a teenager, whether you're in your 20s or your 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, you have to understand that aging is a natural part of the process. But if you are embarrassed about your body, right, it is so hard, okay, to just flip that switch and be like, hey, don't be embarrassed, just accept yourself. It is going to take time for you to continue to accept yourself. You have to learn to love yourself. You're not getting out of this body. You're in this body. Like, imagine driving the same car for 80, 90, or 100 years, right? You would probably make sure that that car is in tip-top shape as much as you could, right? Even if you had the money or not, that car gets you everywhere. You use it every single day. You would take care of that car, right? When people are not taking care of themselves, it can be very difficult to love your body, right? And if you are embarrassed about your body and you have the ability to make changes about that body, if it's just a physical appearance, or maybe it's a birth defect or something else, this takes time and acceptance and probably some really, really great therapists or professional coaches that specialize in this sort of thing, right? I'm not going to talk about sort of disabilities or augmented things on human beings, but if you are just simply embarrassed about being overweight, it's admitting, hey, I'm overweight. But the one ability that you have that's in your control is saying, I am going to make a change. And when you use those 2 words, I am going to make a change. I am going to make a difference. I am going to get to a healthy body. I am going to love my body. I am going to forge a body that I love. Okay. I'm going to create the sort of temple where I feel comfortable and I can fully accept myself. There's some amazing things out there called emotional freedom techniques. If you've never heard about it, it's all about tapping different energy meridians throughout your body, right? And saying different mantras that sort of release pain and tension and stress. And I've used that in the past, and that's been really, really cool. But I would say if you're embarrassed about your body or you're having a tough time with your body, right? Say you're a guy, you're just in your late 20s and it's just, you're not as lean as you used to be and you just want to make some differences, right? You're afraid to take your shirt off when you go for a run. This is in your control. Okay. And you've got to make sure that that ship is sailing in the right direction. If you're going in the right direction of saying, hey, I'm going to go to the gym, right? Hey, I need to take a look at my nutrition. This is 2/3 of how I get back to a healthier body, right? Maybe instead of eating a bunch of Oreos, that, hey, maybe I have 1 or 2 bananas, or hey, maybe instead of these toaster pastries I'm having in the morning, it's a green apple and, 3 fried eggs on a sandwich. Whatever you need help with, right? You can email me. I'm happy to work with you here. But these little differences over a long period of time is what's known as the compound effect. And when you do the right things consistently over a long period of time, you will always get the desired results. Okay. Failure only happens when we're not preparing ourselves for the things that inevitably, come our way. Okay. If you're preparing for this, if you're preparing for a better body day in and day out, eventually over time you will get there. I promise you. But accept yourself, try and love yourself, and then if you can, forge a path ahead for where you want to be and be relentless in that pursuit. Okay. Do it like it's your life depends on it. That would be my best advice there. Okay. I'm going to jump to question number 3. Can you provide some concrete examples on how to improve my physical appearance? So physical appearance is great. And I say that because your physical appearance, you should accept yourself and love yourself no matter who you are and how you look. Okay. But again, relating to the last question, I would argue that if you can improve your physical appearance, it is your humanly duty to do so. Okay. I think a healthy body and a healthy mind truly go hand in hand. And holy cow, right? All the most famous, successful people in the world that I know and respect, they all take care of themselves physically. And also their mind game and their mental game flourish because of that. Okay. When you take care of your physical appearance, your physical body, you're also taking care of your mind. Those 2 things I am absolutely convinced go hand in hand. And I think if you're looking for concrete examples on how to improve your physical appearance, you need to start with what you're putting into your body. Okay. You can't go throw a bunch of trash from someone's garbage over there into your gasoline tank and expect your car to run, right? So why would you expect that you can eat a bunch of Sour Patch Kids for breakfast and ice cream for lunch and pizza for dinner and then expect to go crush the gym tomorrow morning? Maybe you can when you're 19 or 20, 16 maybe, but like as an adult, I certainly can't do that. And even if I eat really healthy for 6 days out of the week, and then that 7th day, I like have a cheat meal, right? Or I have ice cream, I usually feel really shitty for like the next day or two. And it takes me a while now that I'm in my 30s to sort of bounce back from that. So I have to sustain my nutritional eating habits over a longer period of time. I need to make sure that I'm sleeping well. I need to make sure that I'm hydrating well. I need to make sure that I meditate. I have to do all of these sort of preventative measures in order to push myself and keep myself at a higher level of operation, to do all the things that I'm doing right now. So if you're looking on making concrete examples on how to improve your physical appearance, sure. Starts in the kitchen, starts when you go to the grocery store. Pro tip, when you go to the grocery store, just shop around the outside of the store. If you avoid going up and down the aisles, you're not going to buy any processed goods. Start with the vegetable sections first. I always, every time I shop, well, I haven't taken an actual like push cart in forever because you can just dump shit in there. Okay. I always take one of the small hand carts and I go to the store every couple of days and I start with vegetables first and I put the vegetables down on the bottom. Okay. And then I go around to the meats and then I put the meats on top of the vegetables because I'm going to build my meal around the vegetables first. And I say, okay, well, what do I want to eat with sweet potatoes and green peppers? I'm like, okay, well, maybe some steak or some chicken or whatever. And then I'll, take 2 or 3 days worth of foods and then I'll make my way kind of through the eggs, meat, bacon, the dairy section, the butter, and then they usually have like all the gluten-free bread and stuff on the outside. But then I just go right to the counter. I'm not going up and down the aisles unless I need olive oil and it's like in one of those things, then I just know where it is and I go and I grab it. But if you want to if you want to improve your physical appearance, it starts at the grocery store. It starts at home. Throw out the ice cream, throw out the chocolate chips, throw out all the shit food that you shouldn't be putting on in your body anyway. Start with what you're putting in your body and then go and hit the gym. Okay. I have a lot of clients right now that are asking me for advice. Hey, what should I do in the gym? What should I do in the gym? I'm like, well, what are you eating? How are you eating? And I have one client's like, oh, I haven't eaten all day. I'm like, well, what's the point of going to the gym on an empty stomach? Because you have zero carbohydrates in your body, your output is going to be shit. And then you also have nothing to sort of rebuild with, right? So what are you really doing here? Start with food, then start with fitness, and then you have to make these sort of micro changes back and forth. Food, fitness, and then you change. You A and B change, right? Hey, maybe you're eating too many potatoes and you're still putting on weight. Hey, maybe you're not getting enough vegetables and that's why you're feeling lethargic, right? Maybe you're not getting enough protein and that's why you're still feeling sore, right? Because your body's not able to sort of repair those muscles that you've now used to sort of break, and now they can't repair fully. There's so many aspects of this, but if you want to just change your physical appearance, you have to start small and you have to be consistent over a long period of time. This is called the compound effect. All right. Sure, you can go shopping. A lot of people try new makeup, they try new clothes, they get their hair done, and that's how they want to change their physical appearance. But strong mind, strong body. Everyone can tell when you're fit and in shape, and certainly you're going to make more money and you're going to garner more respect when you're more fit and you're more in shape. Okay. That's it. Your mental game also improves too. Don't forget that. That's all I've got for you guys. This is episode 23 of 3 Questions Podcast. I've got to go take my dog out for a walk. Again, if you want to work together, ckcollective.co. Thank you for watching on YouTube and on Spotify if you're listening. Please submit questions, 3questionspodcast@gmail.com, or go to the site and you can find the podcast tab and you can submit questions there. But I really appreciate all of you guys. I'm trying to get these out more consistently. Don't always have a ton of time, but I know who the people are listening and then who come through in the coaching sessions, and you say it's been helpful. So I don't know everything. I would like to get more guests on here. If you want to hear yourself talk, just shoot me a line. We'll get you on here. I'll post 3 questions to you. And then we'll start putting that up. But yeah, this is all user submitted. So I appreciate you guys and have a great rest of your day. See ya later.